going on, Jerome's? The first 4 days of Minnesota Vikings Training Camp 2023 are in the books, including the first practice open to the fans on Saturday. They got Sunday off, the day of rest, as well as the first padded practice is on Monday. That's when camp really starts. Let's get the pads clack-lacking. Really good at talking. But there have been some winners so far in camp. Now, we were going to do a whole winners and losers video, our own training camp as we get ready for the season. But I know it's unfair to label someone a loser so far through 4 days of training camp, where it's hard to judge offensive line play, defensive line play, linebacker play, running back play when there's no contact and all that stuff. And hey, all running backs look really, really good if you can't tackle them, or all receivers look good in one-on-one spots where the corners can't be up and press man. That thing. But we got some winners so far. We want to go through them. Number one. So, again, some of these are just going to be, you play the hits, but number one, Justin Jefferson. And you may think that he may have some rust coming in from no OTAs, but he's good to go. He's good to go. He is reminding everyone why he's wide receiver one. He absolutely put on a show. He absolutely captivated the entire TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill audience at practice on Saturday. And he's crisp. He attacks at all three levels. He's fast. He's quick. He's got hands. Extend this man forever. I mean, hell, give him a piece of the team. I don't care. I don't care at this point. Also, winner number two, quarterback Kirk Cousins. Where Kirk, I mean, maybe it's the Netflix boost, but Kirk, it seems like he's got some swagger to him, a little bit more confidence. Maybe it is continuity in year two with Kevin O'Connell, but he's dropping dimes, man. Dropping the ball in tight windows. Talk about 50-yard throws. Just really out there with a lot of swagger and confidence. I love it. Also getting some confidence is safety Lewis Cine. Now, he had a great interception on Saturday. The crowd really got hyped up. The entire defense actually got hyped up because I think they love him so much. But interception off of Nick Mullins, quick drive on the ball, a diving interception, controlled it all the way through. So it was fantastic to see. And Cine has been running for the most part with a second unit, but I think that it's a spot where he is going to probably be worked into the rotation, as well as he's going to be great on special teams, and he's going to be the heir apparent for Harrison Smith. Winner number four, Josh Metellus. So the Joker, smoker, midnight toker. Actually, probably not. But Josh Metellus, he's been great as a safety. He's been great as a big nickel. He's been great in the slot. He's been great in the linebacker role. And that's what's really interesting about this, too, is that so there's a lot of walkthroughs, and just watching the install of the defense, all of the different personnel packages, being multiple, disguising things. And, I mean, at times this defense, even with just in shells, has given the offense fits. It's sort of been back and forth, a relatively even battle. But I love the role that Josh Metellus is going to be carved out on in the Brian Flores scheme. And I think that he has the talent. I think that he's had the talent over the last couple of years, but he had to prove it. And he's worked his way up from special teams, and now it's his time to shine in a contract year. Hopefully he gets himself paid. Next up, winner number five, also in a contract year, Jalen Reagor. So the first round pick coming out of TCU, drafted one spot ahead of Justin Jefferson. Now had potential, didn't work out in Philadelphia. Vikings and Kwesi picked him up for basically nothing before the start of last season. And now he actually has a full offseason in the Vikings offense. And when Jalen Reagor got in on offense last year, he caused a couple of interceptions due to quitting on routes or miscommunication. But now, if he's fully into the offense, I think that he does have a puncher's chance. And the Vikings, frankly, have a really good problem, is that there's a backlog of really good receivers on this roster. And I do think Jefferson, Addison, KJ, 1, 2, 3 obviously win play show, but Jalen Naylor impressed all offseason, although he's missed the last 3 days of practice with a minor lower leg injury. Hopefully he's going to be good to go next week. That's the plan, according to Kevin O'Connell. Jalen Reagor, $2.5 million change as his base salary is fully guaranteed. Brandon Powell's impressed. Tristan Jackson, Lucky Jackson, Thayer Thomas. So I think that this wide receiver competition is going to be really interesting, man. And Jalen Reagor, I liked him in the draft process a lot. I even liked him better than Jefferson, who, again, there's a lot of revisionist history in the draft community. A lot of people were concerned about Jefferson getting off of press coverage. Maybe he was only going to be a slot guy, but he seemed to do okay. But a lot of people seem to have gotten amnesia. I'll wear it. I'll wear it as a badge of honor. It happens. You never bat 1,000%. Next up, number 6, Ivan Pace Jr. Yeah, the entire league struck out by not drafting this dude, but UDFA linebacker from Cincy, 9+ sacks last year, can bring the pass rush, has a great instinct for the ball, already running with the second team linebackers, and I do think that it eventually will be Ivan Pace Jr. as well as Brian Osama as your 2 off balls going forward. But the fact that Pace is already with the second team, super interesting. Next up, 7 and 8. So 2 receivers. Lucky Jackson, the pride of XFL, made some nice plays with the 2s. The pride of Western Kentucky is getting things done with his opportunities. Also, Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison needed this camp, man. He got in front of the media. He was contrite. He took ownership, and he's got silky smooth routes. He's got great hands, great concentration, working in with the ones, especially the last 3 practices with Jalen Naylor out. And he's trying to put that speeding ticket, reckless driving incident behind him. And this is the best way to do it. Get on the field, make plays in the game, and go from there. Also, wide receiver Brandon Powell. So they've had 3 punt returners so far. It's been Jalen Rager, who's the punt returner last year, incumbent. Brandon Powell, who has a ton of experience returning punts, as well as Jordan Addison, the rookie, who I prefer that our wide receiver 2, 3 doesn't return punts, but but Brandon Powell has made some nice plays working with the 2s and the 3s. Nothing overly to write home about, but can run a full complementary NFL route tree. He is only 5'8", but in terms of being an asset on offense, maybe a little bit more of a gadget player. Could he be like a Tavon Austin adjacent type guy? Possibly, man. Also, I think that there's a chance maybe he steals the punt return job, but in a world where Jalen Rager still is on the roster, I don't know. Quarterback Jaron Hall. So Hall had an up and down day on Saturday, mainly down, but he has impressed overall through the first 4 practices. And did have 2 interceptions, but has some great poise at the line of scrimmage, is already calling audibles, has a lot of arm talent, especially deep and outside the numbers. The accuracy is there, the velocity is there. So I think that he's a guy that you're going to really be watching for in the preseason games. Next up, winner number 11, nose tackle Kairos Tonga. Now, like I said, no padded practices. It's hard to be a winner in the trenches, but Tonga, the fact that he was running with the ones as their starting nose tackle is something that should raise an eyebrow right away. Also, he's had a couple of batted balls at the line of scrimmage, which he's very adept at in terms of just getting his hands up and timing when the quarterback's going to be thrown through his window. So that's something that's very impressive so far. 2 cornerbacks, Caleb Evans, who... So it's been Caleb Evans, Joanne Williams, long, lengthy corners on the outside, as well as Byron Murphy in the slot. Now, when they reduced into base defense with 2 corners on the field, it's been Evans, it's been Byron Murphy. And Caleb Evans, he does make plays, and you do love to see it, and he's adjusted his tackling technique. Hopefully that will alleviate some of the concussions that he had last year. He's got new equipment as well. And frankly, he made a lot of really interesting splash plays last year as a rookie, as a spot starter, and I'm really looking forward to his future, as well as last year's second-round pick Andrew Booth Jr., who has had health issues back to Clemson, had a meniscus injury last year that cost him the bulk of the season, but had an interception off of Kirk Cousins, has been running with the ones as well, more in a rotation, working him in with Joanne Williams and Caleb Evans, and... Yeah, it's sort of like the wide receiver room. The cornerback room, you got Murphy, you got Evans, you got Blackman, you got Barnes, you got Jawan, you got Booth, you got Jalen Williams, who's been running with the second team slot as slot cornerback. So, there's a lot of talent there. It's a lot of unproven talent, but talent nonetheless. I think that's going to win over the day. Winner number 14, so the kicking competition. Greg Joseph, the incumbent, as well as Jack Podolsky, Podlesny. Whatever. Coming in out of Georgia. They made all their kicks on Saturday in front of the crowd. So we'll see. Maybe there's a world where, Joseph, who came back on a 1-year deal, maybe they decide to pinch a couple pennies, and maybe Podlesny is a guy who's not going to miss 9 kicks throughout the season, even though Joseph did hit some nail drivers last year. Who knows? And lastly, 15, tight end Johnny Munt. Now, Hawkinson has made some plays. Josh Oliver is going to be very involved in the offense, 12 personnel for days. But, Johnny Munt made a couple of nice red zone catches as well, including one tight window, great concentration from Kirk Cousins. So even though he's sort of been reduced to tight end 3, just by default with Josh Oliver coming in, doesn't mean that Johnny Munt, the pride of Oregon, is going away necessarily. But that's it. That's I guess 15, 16 winners of training camp so far. Remember, day off today, and then full padded practice on Monday. Woo! That's right. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.